It is a truth universally known in the Dominion that a female alpha without a mate is not an asset, but a threat to her own pack. No matter her strength, no matter her bloodline, without a bond, she is considered unstable. Replaceable. Especially when the countdown begins. Astor Vale sits tall beneath the arched ceiling of the Highwood Council chamber, the ancient stone swallowing the light from the flames above. Her hands rest still in her lap, though every muscle beneath her crimson gown coils like a wolf ready to strike. The council has reviewed the bloodline petitions, Elder Thorncrest announces, his voice dry as old parchment. And we are pleased to inform you, Rowan Darvin has agreed to accept your hand in mating. Accept. Like a gift. Like a favor. Astor smiles. His generosity is overwhelming. Some of the elders chuckle. Thorncrest doesn't. He has territory, wealth, political stature. As a beta, his willingness to bind with an alpha is already a concession. I trust you'll consider this offer with appropriate gratitude. My gratitude, Astor replies coolly, is eternal. 3 months. That's all she has left. 90 days to find a mate or forfeit her pack's lands to the Dominion Tribunal. Her father's legacy. Her mother's grave. Gone. Rowan Darvin is a snake dressed in silk. He's made it clear, he doesn't want a partner. He wants an heir-producing accessory. One he can show off at summits while continuing his personal pursuits in private. But the council doesn't care. Dominion law doesn't care. She is female. She is alpha. And she is alone. 3 nights later, the ballroom of Cross Manor gleams like a blade. Chandeliers drip with crystal and magic. Velvet drapes hang between tall glass windows that look out on a full moon rising over the frozen valley. The elite are out in full force, pack leaders, merchants, generals. And at the center of it all, Astor moves like a flame in a sea of ash. She wears blood red, the color of dominance. The color of war. Rowan arrives late and smug, flanked by his whispering entourage. He approaches Astor at the center of the floor just as the musicians pause. She doesn't look at him. He speaks anyway. I thought you'd have changed by now. Something more demure. Less threatening. Astor turns, smiles tight. I thought you'd bring your mistress. His grin spreads. She's here. Of course. You'll have to meet her eventually. He says it loud enough for the surrounding nobles to hear. Heads turn. A hush falls. You don't expect fidelity, Rowan continues, do you? Plenty of alphas have side arrangements. I assumed you understood that. Astor's hand tightens around the stem of her crystal glass. You should be grateful, he adds, his voice slick. Most betas wouldn't even. The glass shatters against his face. The crowd gasps as shards scatter and crimson wine splashes across his tailored coat. Rowan stumbles, rage sparking through his shock. Astor doesn't wait for him to speak. This mating is over. Then she walks, shoulders high, head unbowed, as the whispers rise behind her like a tide. She doesn't make it 5 steps before crashing into a wall of muscle and motion. Wine sloshes. Velvet rips slightly at the sleeve. Astor jerks back, face flushed, and looks up, straight into the eyes of a man she's only ever seen from a distance. Damian Cross. The alpha of alphas. Billionaire heir to the Cross Dominion shipping empire. The wolf with the coldest reputation and the bluest eyes in the Eastern Territories. He is younger than she expected, but no less intimidating. His presence hits like frost and fire, controlled, devastating. He looks down at the red wine on her gown, then back at her face. Do you always lead with destruction? Only when men mistake me for a conquest. His lips twitch. Almost a smile. Behind her, Rowan shouts, Astra! Get back here. Damien's gaze slides past her, and his voice drops like steel. I suggest you take your hand off her, Beta. Rowan freezes, his fingers still half raised. Damien tilts his head. Unless you're looking to lose it. Silence. Astor watches, surprised, as Rowan lowers his hand and steps back. She turns to Damien. I didn't need help. You looked like you might stab him. I like my floors clean. She narrows her eyes. So you saved the floor. Obviously. Something twists in her chest, unexpected amusement. She doesn't trust it. Enjoy your night, she says flatly, brushing past him. But his voice follows her. Alpha Vale. A word? She hesitates. He gestures toward a quieter corridor behind the ballroom. 5 minutes. You'll want to hear what I'm offering. The hallway is colder. Stone and shadow and silence. Astra leans against the wall, arms crossed. I don't like favors, she says. Or strings. Good, Damien replies. Because what I'm offering isn't a favor. It's a contract. Her brow arches. Excuse me? I know about the deadline. The law. The risk of losing your title. You've burned your final alliance tonight. That was either a political suicide or an act of impressive defiance. Maybe both. Astor doesn't answer. Her heart drums harder. Damien steps closer, hands in his coat pockets. I'm not offering you a mating bond. I'm offering you a merger. Explain. 1 year. Publicly, we're mated. Shared press, ceremonies, appearances. Privately, we stay out of each other's way. In the end, we parted. Astra studies him. What do you get? He doesn't flinch. I need the Grand Wolf Council seat. They won't approve a bachelor, not with my reputation. A mate fixes that. Temporarily. Her instincts scream that this is dangerous. Calculated. Too neat. But he looks exhausted. And something behind his eyes, something tightly caged, flashes with pain. This doesn't make sense, she murmurs. It does if you're out of options. He steps closer. Close enough for her to feel his heat. 1 year, he says again. You keep your pack. I got my seat. No feelings. No entanglement. Just strategy. Her voice is quiet. Why me? His answer comes too fast. Because you don't need me. And that's the only kind of maid I can handle right now. Astor doesn't say yes right away. She leaves him standing in that corridor, the flicker of a strange magic dancing between them like an unspoken challenge. But 2 days later, when the council meets again and reminds her that her time is running out, she signs the contract. She does not know what Damien is hiding. She does not know that he's dying. And she does not yet understand the ancient curse that will tie their lives together in ways no document ever could. But fate doesn't wait for clarity. It waits for a collision. And theirs has only just begun. Subscribe now so you're here for every turn this story takes. The mating chamber smells of old pine and older magic. Golden runes flicker across the stone walls, responding to their presence like living things, sensing, measuring, waiting. Astra stands across from Damien, the silk of her gown pooling like blood at her feet. She wears no crown, no jewelry, only the mark of her lineage stitched in gold thread across her chest. The symbol of her mother's house. Damien looks like a prince from a dying empire. Dressed in midnight black with silver threading down the arms of his tailored coat, he stands impossibly still, like a man trying not to tremble. They say the bond is meant to feel like fire. Astra feels cold. You don't have to kneel, she murmurs, watching as he moves closer. I'm not kneeling, Damien replies. I'm lowering the bar. A flicker of humor, quickly gone. They recite the vow. Not the full rite, just the abbreviated, political version. It's enough to make the bond legal. Enough to satisfy the council. But not enough, Astra suspects, to make it real. He lifts her hand and presses his lips to the back of it. Then, gently, his teeth graze her wrist. The bite is shallow. Magic flares, sharp and bright, and then something stutters. For half a second, the glow falters. Astra gasps. Damien's hand twitches. Blood drips through his glove. He yanks it back, hiding the damage before she can fully see. Astra frowns. That wasn't. It's done, he cuts in, too quickly. The bond took. The council outside begins the ceremonial howl. They are officially mated. And yet, for one strange, suspended moment, Astra feels nothing at all. Their honeymoon begins the next morning in one of Damien's estates near the northern wastes, a frozen, breathtaking mansion carved into a cliffside, where sunlight barely touches the windows and wolves howl every dusk. They are supposed to stay 2 weeks. Appear in public twice. Smile for cameras. Give interviews that imply intimacy and a shared future. Instead, Astra spends most days alone in the library while Damien disappears for hours at a time. One morning, she wakes to find him asleep beside her. Fully clothed. On top of the covers. His breathing ragged, his face pale. He jerks awake the moment she shifts beside him. I didn't mean to, he mutters, sitting up fast, hand over his chest. Nightmare? She asks. He doesn't answer. Just stands, too fast, and leaves the room. The magic tugs. That's the only way Astra can describe it. A thread beneath her skin, low and humming, always connected to him. Sometimes it pulls gently. Sometimes it tightens like a noose. And sometimes, like now, when he's standing across the room smiling at nothing, it goes utterly still. He's hiding something. She can feel it like a bruise under her ribs. And the more he hides, the more the tension builds. It begins with a car. Not just any car, a blood-red Ferrari parked outside the manor with a bow large enough to wrap a tiger. She blinks at it. I thought you could use some speed, Damien says, watching her reaction. I'm not a trophy wife, she replies coolly. Of course not. It's a bribe. She slams the door without ever stepping inside. Then come the gifts. One by one. A boat. An actual yacht. A weekend retreat on a private island, fully staffed, empty except for them. A string quartet flew in to play outside her window at sunrise. A rare dessert from the Northern Territories that takes 10 hours to prepare and tastes like sugared velvet. Even a poem. Handwritten. Signed with his name, his real one, not his title. But none of it works. Because Astra knows desperation when she sees it. One night, during a diplomatic dinner with merchant lords, Damien downs 2 glasses of human wine. By the third, he's glassy-eyed. His smile is too loose. His posture is off. When the dinner ends, he stumbles back into the manor and pulls her into the darkened hall with shaking hands. "Damien," she says, steadying him. He looks at her like he's drowning. "I thought it would work," he whispers. "I thought the bite would be enough." Her blood goes cold. "What do you mean?" "The curse. My family's curse." He sinks to the floor. "My father died trying to break it. My brother never got the chance. And me? I thought, maybe if I bonded with someone, an alpha strong enough, it would trick the magic." He laughs bitterly. "But it wasn't enough. It's not real." Astra kneels slowly. "You're cursed?" "I'm turning human," he breathes, eyes glassy. "My strength. My healing. My wolf. It's all slipping. I thought this mating would stop it. But the bond isn't deep enough. I can't feel you." "Not really." Her voice hardens. "You used me. I needed time, just time. And you lied." "I didn't lie," he rasps. "I begged." Astra stands. Every part of her aches with betrayal. "You could have told me the truth. I didn't want your pity. And now you have my contempt." She turns and leaves him on the floor, alone with his unraveling magic. The next day, Astra travels alone to a trade negotiation in the Central Dominion District. Damien was supposed to come. He doesn't show. Someone else does. Rowan Darvin. He arrives late, just before the negotiations begin, all charm and honeyed smirks. "You shouldn't be here," Astra says tightly. "I was invited." "By whom?" He smiles. "Let's call it mutual interest." He leans in, voice quiet. "Damien sent me to his place." "That's not possible." Rowan shrugs. "Is it?" He's been rather busy lately, with his other companion. Astra stiffens. "Oh, come now," Rowan says, eyes glinting. "You didn't think you were the only one playing pretend, did you? That wasn't a bond you felt, it was a contract. One of many." She doesn't speak. Doesn't move. Just leave. And when she gets home, she doesn't go to Damien. She goes to her room. Alone. The bond is quieter now. Duller. Like a song played through water. She waited 3 days. Then she calls him. The moment he picks up, she speaks. "We should consider dissolving the bond early." A pause. "Then, if that's what you want." His voice is distant. "Dead. No point dragging this out," she says. "No," he agrees. "There isn't." Neither of them hangs up first. Eventually, the silence cuts the line for them. That night, Astra dreams of wolves howling, but none of them answer back. And far away, Damien stares at his reflection, watching the place where his claws used to be. The bond is still there. But it feels like a thread stretched too tight. Ready to snap. The birthday gala begins in gold and ends in ash. The ballroom at Cross Manor gleams with floating candles and velvet banners. Nobles laugh over crystal and wine. A full orchestra plays beneath a ceiling enchanted with starlight. Everything Damien requested has been executed to perfection. Everything except him. He disappears before the first toast. 1 minute he's in the hall, smiling thinly as he thanks the council for attending. The next, he's gone. His absence goes unnoticed at first. An heir can afford to be fashionably late to his own celebration. But when the clock strikes 10, and he's still not returned, the whispers begin. He was pale when I saw him. Shaking. Someone said he argued with Astra. I heard he's been seeing someone else. I heard he's cursed. Astra Vale hears them all. She doesn't care. She cares only about the sensation curling in her gut, a wrongness in the bond, like something unraveling. A cold wind threading its way into her chest. She steps outside, into the courtyard beneath the full moon. Closes her eyes. And listens. The bond is faint. Weak. Like the last echo of a song once known by heart. But it's still there. She opens herself to it fully, unclenching every wall she built in the last month. The sensation burns, raw and wild and desperate, but she feels him. Not far. North. Hurting. Resigned. Astra shifts mid-stride, the fabric of her gown melting into fur and bone as she hits the edge of the forest. And then she runs. The forest is half moonlit and trembling. Snow falls in delicate flakes as Astra's wolf bounds through underbrush, her breath fogging in silver bursts. Trees blur past. Branches scrape her fur. The bond pulses like a dying heartbeat ahead of her, fragile but alive. She pushes faster. This isn't about territory anymore. It isn't about saving her title, or proving she doesn't need anyone. This is about him. And the truth she's run from ever since their bond was sealed. She finds the cabin just after midnight. The lights are off. Smoke curls faintly from the chimney, too thin, too slow. The door is locked, but Astra doesn't hesitate. She shifts back mid-motion and slams her shoulder into the wood. It bursts inward. The fire inside is nearly gone. One last log flickers weakly in the hearth. Shadows stretch across stone floors. The air smells of blood, ash, and something fading. Damien sits slumped beside the fire, his back against the cold stone. His clothes hang loose. His skin is pale. His eyes are no longer glowing blue. They are human. He looks up when he hears her, and something in him folds. You shouldn't be here, he says quietly. Astra steps forward. I didn't come for your title. He smiles without humor. Good. Because there's nothing left to inherit. His hand lifts, and she sees the scar across his palm. It's still open. Still bleeding. No healing. No magic. He is fully human now. She kneels beside him. He doesn't meet her eyes. I didn't want you to see me like this, he says. I thought if I left quietly, if I let the bond fade, you could move on. I could, Astra says. But I didn't. His throat works like swallowing is a struggle. I failed, he murmurs. The bond wasn't strong enough. I was never strong enough. And now you're tied to a man who can't shift, can't heal, can't protect you. You think that's what I needed from you? Her voice is a blade wrapped in silk. He flinches. You lied, she says. You manipulated me. But somewhere in the middle of all that, between the damn boats and the poems and the wine, I saw you. He finally looks up. And for the first time, she sees him, truly sees him. Not the billionaire. Not the alpha. Just the man. Scared. Alone. Breaking. Her voice softens. Tell me you don't love me, Damien. Look me in the eye and say it. He opens his mouth. Closes it. Tries again. Nothing comes out. He bows his head. I can't. Why not? Because I do. The words fall like glass. I love you, he says, voice cracking. And that's the worst part. Because I don't want you to waste yourself on someone who's already lost. She cups his face with both hands, forcing him to meet her gaze. You never lost me, she whispers. And then she says it. The words that shake the world. I love you too. There is no magic in her voice. Only truth. Unarmored. Unconditional. Real. The air shifts. It begins at her fingertips, where they touch his skin, sparks, golden and wild, dancing across his cheeks. His breath catches. Light bursts from his chest, searing through his veins. He gasps. His body arches back. His hands claw the floor, and this time, claws do emerge. Fur erupts across his arms. His spine snaps back into alpha alignment. His muscles surge. The wound on his palm closes in a flash of fire. The curse screams, and then shatters. His wolf rises in him like a tide crashing through stone. And when it howls, it is not in pain. It is in joy. Aster collapses into him as he shifts, massive, silver-black, and whole again. His body wraps around her as if she is gravity itself. She buries her face in his fur, sobbing once, hard. He shifts back slowly, pulling her into his lap. The fire roars to life on its own, golden and hot. Their bond thrums between them, no longer dull or strained, but bright. Wild. Chosen. I thought it had to be a trick, he breathes. A loophole. A deal. No, she says. It had to be real. He leans his forehead against hers. And it is. Outside, the wind dies. The stars blink into view above the trees. And Damien Cross, reborn and remade, howls once more beneath the mountain moon, not in agony, but in victory. Aster presses her palm to his chest, feeling the rhythm of his heart. There is no contract left between them. No bargain. No clause. Only the truth of what they chose, freely and fully. Each other. If this story caught your attention, subscribe and join us for the next chapter.